Om. 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Saraswati Namastubhyam
Varade Kamarupini
Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamai Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Lankayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Bande Paramananda Madhavam Paramananda Madhavam. Let's read verses 14 to verse number 18. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spriha iti mam yobhijanati karma bhirna sabadhyate evam nyatva kritam karma urvairapi mumukshubhihi Guru karmaiva tasmatvam purvaiv purvataram kritam kim karma kimakarmeti kavayopyatra mohitaha tatte karma pravakshyami yajñatva mokshase shubhat karmano hyapi bodhavyam bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha akarmanascha bodhavyam kahana karmano gatihi karmanya karmaya pashyet akarmani cha karmayah sabuddhiman manushyeshu sayuktah kritsna karma krita. Okay, so where are we now in the Bhagavad Gita? So today we're going to talk about a really important verse, but before that, let's see the thought flow. Bhagavan Krishna says, Chatur Varnyam Maya Srishtam, that I created these 4 varnas, these 4 classifications based on the temperaments of people's mind, guna karma vibhagashaha. And he says here, although I created this, but I am not the doer. And he says that in verse 14, namam karmani limpanti, that actions don't taint me. Name karma phale spriha, nor do I have any desire for the fruits of actions. And the one who knows me thus is not bound by actions. So what Sri Krishna is trying to say is the one who knows me as the self, the one who knows me that I am the essence of that being also, that person doesn't get bound. Because we saw earlier that Bhagavan said, my janma, my birth is divya. My karma is divya, means my birth is divine and my actions are divine. So in what way are Bhagavan's actions divine? He's not tainted by them, nor does he have any desire for the fruits of actions. And so Bhagavan Krishna says, and now having explained this to you, Arjuna, I want to tell you how to perform action. You perform it as the previous people performed it. Don't run away. Don't run away. And I know that karma is gahana, means it's so deep that it's so hard to know what's to be done and what's not to be done. So then he says, here, what is karma? What is akarma? Even the great munis, they get confused by this. What is karma? Action. What is akarma? Inaction. Even the wise are deluded. Therefore, I'm going to tell you what is this action and inaction. Yajñatva, having known this, moksha se ashubhat, one will be free. You will be free, moksha se ashubhat, means from any evil, from this samsara, this cycle of rebirth. So then Sri Krishna now tells Arjuna, so listen, there's three things you have to know. Karma, akarma, vikarma. Okay, what is karma? Action. What is akarma? Inaction. What is vikarma? Wrong action. So last time we saw this from different standpoints. So first let's see from vyavaharik drishti, from transactional standpoint. Karma means that which is done. Kriyate iti karma, or chalanatmakam karma, that which is which one engages in is karma. So karma, action, and akarma, inaction. So when somebody does something, it's karma. When somebody doesn't do it, it's akarma. Then if we go to Dharma Shastra, then it's split now into three. Karma, akarma, and vikarma. Karma means doing what our kartavya is, what our daily duties and our occasional duties are. This is called kartavya karma. Doing that is called karma. Akarma means not doing that, refraining from that. And vikarma means opposite of that, nishiddha. So for example, in the case of Arjuna, what is kartavya for Arjuna? Kartavya for Arjuna is to fight this battle, is to engage in war because of his stage in life, his inclination, and also because of his role. So because of these three things, Arjuna's kartavya or duty is to engage in this war. What would be akarma for Arjuna? Akarma would be not engaging in this war and trying to run away, trying to prevent from doing one's duties, trying to prevent oneself from doing one's duties is called akarma. What is vikarma? Vikarma means doing that which is opposite. So for Arjuna, vikarma would be running away. Not only that, but getting bhiksha, becoming a bhikshu or a sannyasi. That is vikarma for Arjuna. That's not what's to be done because he's not in that stage of life. He can't go out there begging for alms. So Sri Krishna told Arjuna, listen, karma it's very complex. And I want to tell you what the essence of karma is. Because in knowing the essence, you will become free. He said, moksha se ashubhat. So one would think, okay, knowing karma, akarma, vikarma, one will be free, but how? So then he goes even deeper. And now we're going to open up verse number 18. We started briefly opening this up, but now today we're going to open it up fully. This verse is one of the most beautiful verses in Bhagavad Gita. When Sri Ganesha and Vedavyasa-ji, they had a pact, right? Sri Ganesha agreed to write down all the verses of Bhagavad Gita, but he said, Vedavyasa-ji, you should not stop. So whenever Vedavyasa-ji had to stop and think, what did he do? He gave Sri Ganesha a puzzling verse. He gave him a very puzzling verse. And then, so that way, Sri Ganesha would have to stop and think, because the condition was Sri Ganesha could write everything down, but he had to understand it first. And if he didn't understand, he couldn't write. So Ved Vyasji said, I'm going to give you a sixer, one of those shlokas, which will really make you think, because I need to think. And we saw one of these beautiful verses in chapter 2. Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutana, that which is night to all beings, Tasyam Jagarti Samyami, that is day to the self-controlled. And then that which is day to that self-controlled one is night to all beings. So it's something that makes us think why Sri Krishna is giving these verses. Then in chapter 9 also, what will come is Sri Krishna will say, Matsthani sarva bhutani, everything is in me. Nachaham teshu avastita, but I am not in them. And then nachamatstani bhutani, but they are also not in me. Everything is in me. I am not in them, but they are also not in me. So this will come in verse 9 of chapter 9. So like that, Sri Krishna gives us these verses. Veda Vyasji gave Sri Ganeshji these verses so that we could really, really think about them. And Adi Shankaracharya was also asked, why are you giving such complex verses? And he explains in his commentary. So let's enter this verse now. Karmani. Karmani means in action. Akarma yaha pashyet. The one who sees akarma in action, amidst action. Karmani akarma yah pashyet. Akarmani chakarma yaha. And the one who sees in action, amidst action, sabuddhiman. This person is wise. Manushyeshu, among all beings. Sayuktaha, this being is a yogi. Kritsna karma, krit, and the performer of all actions. He who recognizes inaction in action and action in inaction is wise among men. He is a yogi and a true performer of all actions. So first, let us see this from a drishti, which is not Adi Shankaracharya's commentary. This is one drishti given by one of the commentators, which is, drishti means vision, based on karma yoga. So let's see how this flows based on karma yoga, and then we'll get into jnana yoga. The one who sees inaction amidst action. What does that mean? Inaction means here no doership. The one who sees no doership amidst action. So we saw a little bit of this last time. It's when one has completely surrendered to Bhagavad. When one has completely surrendered to Bhagavad fully, that when the action is going on, it's as if it is just going on. The writer gets lost in the writing. The painter gets lost in the painting. The teacher gets lost in the teaching. All of these, that there's a level where the individuality ceases and gets lost in the action itself. And what happens is there is a flow. There's a flow which is just happening, and we don't even feel like we're doing anything, but we're just being moved. That feeling of being moved, that's called karmani akarma. That amidst all action, there is inaction, means there is no doership. And it's so much like when a painter paints a masterpiece. The painter doesn't even know how it came out. You know, sometimes that happens, that the painter gets so extremely lost in it, they don't know how it happened. And if we tell the painter, can you make that same masterpiece for me? The painter doesn't know how to do it. Doesn't know how to do it because he says, or she says, that it's just God's hand. It's God's hand that has taken over. So in one context, this is what this means. Then, how would you see the other one in Karma Yoga Drishti? Akarmani chakaramaya. Then, in inaction, action. So sometimes, we being part of a service organization, a lot of seva going on, inaction is there in the sense that we're still and we step aside and we don't say anything. But inside, the mind could be doing karma. So inaction means the body, mind is maybe still, appears to be still, but the mind is going on. What is the mind thinking? Why am I not recognized? Why didn't they call my name? I might have said, yes, it's God's grace. Everything is Bhagavan only. But still, there's the feeling that I need to be recognized also. Why didn't they recognize me? Why didn't they say my name? Why didn't they call me? Why didn't they say something nice? Why didn't they compliment me? So though sometimes we feel like we're still and we smile, but inside the mind, they still have such thoughts. And it happens. So even outwardly, if we say, I am not the doer and everything flows through me, inside, I'm like, oh my gosh, without me, how would have this happened? These are some thoughts that we have. Why does this come? This comes because we haven't lost ourselves fully. We haven't surrendered ourselves fully because we actually don't understand the role of Bhagavan in our lives. So now, what if this is happening to me? What if this feeling is happening to me where I want to surrender this stewardship? I want to be this instrument, but I'm just not there yet. What do I do? So one great thing is think of how many people are involved in such an act. Let us say now there's a Bhagavad Gita class going on, right? What happens? Teaching is happening. But can I say that I am the teacher? Can I say that I am the teacher? No. How? Because this Bhagavad Gita is from Sri Krishna. The commentaries are from Puja Gurudev and Adi Shankaracharya ji. All the knowledge is not my own, it has been given to me. This form also has been given to me. When we think about all the people that are part of such an act like teaching, how can we say that I am the teacher? If I am writing, all the knowledge is given to us, all the works have been laid before us, and everything, the only thing, if at all, we do is just reflect and tune into it. That's the only thing. And in doing that, how can we say that I'm the writer or I'm the teacher? How can we say I'm the business owner when every single thing that's come together is because of so many employees and so many customers, so many products that people created, the roads that people made so people could come to your store? How can I say I'm the business owner? So when we think of how many people are involved in our every single action, can we really say that I did it? Can we? So the ability of oneself to recognize how many people are involved in such an act, that reduces our individuality or our doership. That is one method. It was Newton, I think, who said that I am able to see far because I stand on such great shoulders. Something like this, he said, that why is he able to think so deeply? Because he stands on such great shoulders. So why are we able to do certain things? It's because we stand on such great shoulders. Now, the second thing, what if this still comes to me that I am the doer? Yes, especially when something is good. Yes, I did it. I nailed it. What do I do? One must engage in upasana. Huh? Have that contemplation on Ishvara. All of us should be deeply engaged in praising the divine. Whatever prayer it is, praise the divine. Praise is such an important part of our culture. So you see, there's Sahasranama, there's Stotrams, there's Suktams, because it reduces our ego and brings everything to Bhagavan or Bhagavati and says, you are everything. I am nothing, you are everything. So one who constantly praises that higher, their individuality also ceases. Actually, they melt in Bhagavan. They melt in Bhagavan. They become one with that Bhagavan. And so this in Karma Yoga Shastra is seen a little deeper, such that when we say these prayers like Kayena Vacha Manasendriyeva Buddhyatmanava Prakriti Swabhavat, right? We say this, Kayena, whatever I do with my body, Vacha, my speech, Kayena Vacha, Manasa by my mind, Indriyehi by my sense organs, Buddhyatmana by my intellect, Prakritehi Swabhavat, due to the nature of my Prakriti, Karomi yad yad, everything that I do, Sakalam parasme, everything is to you, Narayanamiti samarpayami, I offer it to you. Now, when we chant this, normally we think, I offer all actions in dedication to Bhagavan, but here now, offer that very doership to Bhagavan. Offer that very doership, that it's not even karomi, it is you only. Offer that. I always wondered why there's this prayer to Lord Shiva in the Shiva Manasa Puja, the bottom, Kara Charana Kritam Bhak, Kayajam Karmajam Bhak, Shavananayana Jamba, Manasa Paradha, Vitam Abhitam Bhak, Sarvametat Kshamasva, Jaya Jaya Karunabdhe, Shri Mahadeva Shambho. Kara Charana Kritam Bhak, whatever I do with my feet and my hands and my voice, Kaya Jam Karma Jam Bhak, whatever I do with my body, my actions, Shravana Nayana Jamba, whatever I see, whatever I hear, Manasa Bhavarada, whatever I think, you please forgive me, Vihitam Avihitam, for that which is Vihita, for that which is prescribed by the scriptures, and Avihita, that which is not prescribed by the scriptures. Vihitam Avihitam Va. Sarvam Etat Kshamasva. Forgive me for doing all of this, that which is prescribed by the scriptures and not prescribed by the scriptures. So I was thinking deeply as why would we ask Bhagavan for forgiveness for doing something prescribed by the scriptures? Isn't that karma? But perhaps what this prayer is trying to say is, forgive me for even having the doership of doing something prescribed by the scriptures or not prescribed by the scriptures. Vihitam avihitam va sarvam etat kshamasva. Please forgive me. Jaya Jaya Karunabdhe Shri Mahadeva Shambho. O you, Shankara, the ocean of compassion, please forgive me. So from the Karma Yoga Shastra, this is what it means. I wanted to bring this up here because this is something many of us struggle with. We're not able to let go of that sense of doing, of that individuality. So this is one drishti. Now we enter into the Jnana portion. How this is interpreted as per Jnana Yoga, and this is also what is written by Adi Shankaracharya ji. So let us go there. Karmani akarma ya pashyet. So karmani akarma. Here, akarma means that actionless self. See that actionless self amidst all action. Now, what does this mean? See, who exactly are we? Who exactly are we? First, let's think about that. Let's just revise that a little bit. When we think about who we truly are, the body is something that we are able to observe, we are able to see, right? We are apart from the body. I'm able to see the body. Therefore, I am different from the body. I'm able to observe the body. I'm different from it. I am aware of it. I am different from it. So therefore, the body is an object of my awareness. There's a separation there. When we think of our minds, what happens? There's that same separation. I am different from my mind because I am aware of it. I am able to observe it. It is an object of my experience. Now we come to the intellect. We are also aware of our intellect, aware of our thoughts. Our mind has such emotional thoughts. Our intellect has ideas, has beliefs, has convictions. We are also aware of that, what we are convinced about. We are also aware of this personality that has changed so much. When we were 2 years old, what were you and I like? So different, right? We were so different when we were 2 years old. When we were maybe 10 years old, we were even very different, a different personality. When we were 20, 30, little bit different. So there are some times in our personality that we changed drastically. Maybe when we were very, very young, we liked totally rocking loud Bollywood music. We would play in the room or wherever. And then when people get to teenage age, maybe they like that romantic Bollywood music, that different types of music. And then maybe when they get older, they just want budgets. Hopefully they just want budgets. We don't know. But anyway, our music, our taste changes. Maybe when we were younger, we like to eat so much junk food. And maybe when we're older, we're more careful about what we eat, what we don't eat. But our personality changes greatly. And we're aware of all of that. We're aware of our changing personality. So who are we? We are that awareness. First, let's establish this. We are that awareness. And everything else is that which we are aware of, becomes an object of our experience. Now, what is that awareness? That awareness is called Atma. And that awareness is a changeless awareness. It doesn't change. It's the same awareness that's there all the time. That's how we're aware of so many changes in our personality. So many changes in our personality, in our being. How are we aware of that? Because we are awareness. So many bodies have come. Which body are you? So many minds or thoughts have come. Which thought are you? So many personalities in you and in me have grown and have dissolved. Which personality are you? None of them. In reality, you and I are that pure awareness, changeless awareness, that in which everything changes. Everything changes. That changeless awareness, everything changes. and keeps changing and keeps changing and keeps changing. Well, why can't the awareness also change? If the awareness changed, then who will be aware of that change? And we will keep going on and on and on. So actually, not only is your nature and my nature awareness, it's that changeless awareness, which is actionless. Actionless. It doesn't move. It hasn't moved. It is just there. It is just there. And that actionless awareness is what we call Atma. So here when we say karmani, in action, see inaction, means see that actionless Atma amidst all action. So amidst all action, see that actionless Atma. Why? Why should I see that actionless Atma amidst all action? And what does it mean to see that actionless Atma amidst all action? Life will never slow down. Maybe it might slow down to some extent, but what I really mean to say, it will never stop. Things will keep happening, things will keep going, and we get so tired. We get tired, we get pressured, we get nervous, we get tensed, we get all of these feelings and emotions. And sometimes we say, I just want to relax. We use these terms like, I just want a break. I just want a break. It means you want to stop. Or we tell somebody, I just need some space. Again, just need like some distance. I just need some time. Again, we need some kind of distance. We say these things. I need some time. I need some space. I need a break. I just want to relax. And that's why who's making the most money now? All the relaxation places, no? Come to the spa and relax. Come to take this diet and relax. Sit in this meditation class and relax. We like to hear that word relax because we are so tired. But what our rishis are trying to say is relaxation is not in the body being still, or even the mind for that matter. True relaxation is in knowing that you and I are that actionless self. So everything can keep moving. Everything can keep flowing. Everything can keep going on. It's okay. Let it go on because that's the nature of the world. Jug, jug, jug. Our Gurudev used to say, jaga, 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 jagat, right? It will keep going on. So there's no way that we can just stop. But there is great, great solace in knowing that amidst all of the movement, I am that actionless self. I am that Atma. So the eyes may be seeing, the ears may be hearing, the tongue may be tasting, the mind may be thinking, the intellect may be creating, the personality might be changing, but I am this stillness, peace, self that never moved. I may have walked so many miles, talked so many words, done so many actions, but in reality, I never moved. I can't because I am everywhere. So when someone is able to notice, recognize, see, means turn one's attention towards that actionless self, amidst all of this action, one will find great peace. So this is the first part of the shloka. Karmani akarma yaha pashyet. The one who sees in action amidst all action. First part of the verse. Now, the second part of the verse, Akarmani cha karmaya. And the one who sees action in inaction means they see action amidst inaction. What does this mean? When someone is sitting still, sitting quietly, it might appear that the body is still. It might appear that the mind is still, but there's still activity going on. Even in the quietest seat of contemplation, in the deepest sleep, or when we are standing still, there's still activity going on. There's still activity in the thought level going on. And sometimes we think that I am not going to talk. That's also doership. I am going to talk is doership. I am not going to talk. That's also doership. I am going to eat is doership. I am not going to eat is also doership. And sometimes not doing takes more effort. How much more effort it is to be quiet? Much more effort. It's easier to talk. How much more effort it is to fast? Much more effort than to eat. I will stay still. That requires so much effort. If somebody is practicing tapasya, that requires so much effort. Much more effort than to just wander and walk around. So even in the seeming, sitting still, just being quiet, still action is going on in the mind level. So don't be deceived by it. Don't be deceived by it. So what is the import of this verse? The import of this verse is the truth doesn't depend on doing or not doing. Whether you and I do or we don't do, that's not the issue. The issue is, do we know who's doing? If we know that we are ever the non-doer amidst all doing and not doing, that person is the buddhiman. So the one who is ever rooted that I am the non-doer. Whether there is doing, there is no doing, I am the non-doer. I am that stillness. I am that peace. And let everything go on. That person is called buddhiman. That person is called yuktaha. Yuktaha means yogi. And Adi Shankaracharya ji gives a very beautiful description here. He says, Kritsna karma krit. This person is Kritsna karma krit. What does this mean? This means that Krit has done. Kritam, Krit has done what? Karma, actions. What actions? Kritsna, all actions. So this person is called Kritsna karma krit, the one who has done all actions. Well, what do you mean? You see, all actions that we perform are for joy, because we want something, right? And this will also come in the next verse. We perform actions because we want to get something out of it. We want joy. And therefore we run and we engage and we disengage. We do all kinds of things because we want some semblance of joy in the world. But for the one who knows the self as the actionless self, they know that they are that seat of fulfillment. They are that Atma, which is actionless, which is complete, which is Purna, which is our real nature. And therefore, they don't need to go out and do anything to feel complete anymore. Kritsna karma krit, they have accomplished everything required by karma. The only purpose of karma, what is the purpose of karma? Is to give us that purity of mind so that we can realize who we are and revel in that. That's the purpose of karma. And this being has achieved that purpose. Because this being has achieved that purpose, this being has done all karmas. I'm going to share with you a very nice verse that comes from Yoga Vasishta. And so you can feel what this means, okay? And just give me one moment while I open this. Okay. Right. So I'll just chant this and I'll explain. Snanam tena samasta tirtha salile dattam mahi mandalam viprebhya pitra devata suragana sarvepi santarpita japta mantra sahasra koti ramuna taptam chativram vratam Yasya brahma vicharane kshanamapi prapnoti dhairyam manah. So, who is this person? This person, as though has taken snatam tena samasta tirtha salile, has taken a dip in all the holy rivers. Dattam mahi mandalam, and has given everything, has given a gift to all the brahmanas, all the ancestors, all the great people, has given all the gifts, has done all kinds of offerings. Japta mantra sahasra koti ramuna, the one who has done thousands of crores of japas and performed all austerities. Taptam chativram vratam. Who is this person? Yasya brahma vicharane kshanamapi prapnoti dhairyam manah. The one who's spent kshanam, just a moment, in brahma vichara, in the inquiry of the self, the one who spent just even a moment in the inquiry of the self, that person has achieved all of this. This is what we mean by kritsna karma krit. That being has achieved everything, all of this. So you can see that such a comprehensive definition of what is karma, what is akarma. There's one comment here. Another interpretation of kritsna karma krit. He does all the actions could also be that no action is possible without the self. Nice. So in one way, the self is the non-doer of any action, but it is due to the self that all actions get existence. Yes, that's also a very, very beautiful way to look at it. Now, I will share with you a few things that Adi Shankaracharya ji has written. He has written some beautiful things, and I'll just share with you what he's saying. This one is my favorite, right? So somebody was asking him, again, why are you talking about this? Why are you talking about karma, akarma, karma? It's confusing, right? Why don't you just tell us straight? So Adi Shankaracharya ji says, Tat etat ukta prati vachanam api. He says, even if I have explained so many times that the self is actually the non-doer, asakrit atyanta viparita darshana bhavitataya mo muhyamanaha lokaha. He says that everybody is still deluded. Shrutam api asakrit tatvam vismritya. Even if we've heard it, we still forget. He says in the world, people they keep listening, they still forget. And he says, Mithya prasangam avatarya chodayati. How many times he's explained? Punaha, uttaramaha, Bhagavan. If so many times Bhagavan has given this answer, durvigneyatvam cha alakshya vastunaha. He says it's something so difficult. It's something so difficult. And so he's saying that it's not that Bhagavan intends to confuse us. He just wants to present it in a different way because this is so hard to comprehend. And so he says, what we need to do here, he says, Dehadyashrayam karma. Dehadyashrayam karma. That karma is actually residing in the body, mind, intellect. Particularly, the karma, the action, depends on the karta, on the doer. Where does that doer reside? That doer resides in the mind, intellect, equipment. And he says, Atmani adhyarupya. What we do is we superimpose that doership on Atma. And when we superimpose that doership on Atma, what do we feel? Aham karta. I am the doer. Mama etat karma. This is my karma. Maya asya phalam bhoktavyam. By me, this fruit of action will be enjoyed. So he says, this is how people feel when the doership is superimposed on Atma. So why he said, see that actionless self amidst all action, don't superimpose anything on Atma. Atma is ever the actionless self. And he says, now the other way, tatha aham tushnim bhavami. Somebody says, okay, I'm going to sit quietly. Yena ham nirayasaha karma sukhi syam. That by which I will not do anything, effortlessly not do anything. He says, even in that tushni, even in that silence, there is that doership. So he says, for this reason, I want to tell you what this means. Action, karmani. In action, what is a karma? What is actionless self amidst all action? And what does it mean to be in action, but action? Now, one more example I want to give you, and then I will maybe open up to the next one. So, sometimes we think of, can you give us examples in the world of where we see this? What is something that can remind us constantly that we are the non-doer? So one example is, if you see the sun, right? Does it really rise or does it really set? The sun ever is, right? It's that actionless self. The movement of rising and setting is superimposed on that sun. But the sun is like that actionless self. Similarly, there's one example which I found very interesting. I want to share that also with you. This example shows how we get so deluded in life. And I'm sure all of us have experienced this. This comes in Srimad Bhagavatam. It says, Yatha Brahmarika Drishtya Brahmayativa Mahiyate Chitte Kartari Tatratma Karte Vahandhiya Smritaha. What does it mean? Yatha Brahmarika Drishtya. When we were young, perhaps what happened was we used to spin around, right? When we used to spin around, you spin around. And when you spin around, Brahmayativa Mahiyate, the whole world looks like it's spinning, right? It's not spinning, but because we're spinning around, the whole world is spinning. The same way, Chitte Kartari, in that mind, intellect, equipment is that doership. But in that self, in Atma, Karta, Iva, we think that the self is the doer because of this notion. So while the mind alone is the doer, the Atma is recognized as such due to its identification with the mind. So, like how we are spinning and the whole world as those spins, but it's not really spinning. When we are deluded, in Vivekachudamani, it says, when we have drunk Maya Madira, the liquor of Maya, when we are deluded, it seems like the self is doing everything, when in reality, it does nothing. But yet, in its presence, everything happens. Yes? So this is the the import of this verse, I hope that it's clear. It's a very, very beautiful verse to just keep thinking and thinking and thinking about. I also couldn't think about anything else. I did look at the other verse, but I just wanted to stay on this verse. There is a question by Chandraji. Maybe I will take it now so we can stay on the same thought flow. Okay. Yes. Chandraji, can you unmute? Yeah.
Okay. The body, the mind, and the intellect, they act as one, correct? But the self or the Atma is behind, just watching, okay? Now, the Atma watches the action of these three, or the Atma is watching the inaction of these three, correct? So now, I understand the concept, but I don't understand how only when I realize who I am is when I can realize this thing. Am I correct on that?
Okay, so first few things, right? One is Atma is not watching, because Atma doesn't do any kriya. So
yes.
In the presence of Atma, activity happens.
Yes.
And inactivity happens in the presence of Atma. Right? Now, when I realize that I am the actionless self, then what happens? Right? Then what happens is I stay rooted in that actionless self amidst all the activity. So the activity can go on, inactivity can go on. The world will go on as it needs to, but I will know that I am ever free from all of this activity and inactivity.
Yeah, but only if you know yourself can you realize this. Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
Only if you know the self. If I know the self, we know the self, then this is possible.
Okay, perfect.
And I'll just add to this, and I'll read one comment. There's so many times, people are how to relieve stress, how to get rid of pressure. Actually, the ultimate way is to get rid of doership. Because as long as I feel I'm the doer, I will be so stressed and tensed, and like all of these things will keep happening. I'll feel like, oh, I have to perform, oh, I have to do this, oh, I have to do that. As long as we have that notion of doership, a lot of this will happen. But when we realize that just let it go, just completely let go and let things happen, they happen so beautifully and ever so magically. So this is what this means. Okay, now there's two things also I want to read here. Then wait, instead of going to the next verse, I will take these up because I want to stay in the same thought. It is interesting that even after the knowledge that the sun does not rise or set, it still seems like it rises and sets. Similarly, after the knowledge of the self, we would still perceive duality, but perception of duality does not mean reality of duality. Yes, very beautifully said. It is true. So even after knowledge of the self, the body will still perform, the mind will still think, all will still happen, but it's just an appearance. And by the way, these set of verses 18 to 24 is the cream of chapter 4. So I'm actually enjoying that these verses. The next verses will show how a jnani, somebody who has knowledge of the self, actually acts in the world knowing that they're the actionless self. Okay. Next, you gave an example of saying, I nailed it, but there are other people who are responsible for that action even though it's good. Does the same apply for bad action too? In the sense, are there other factors responsible for that action and I'm not the doer? When a bad action happens, what do I do? When a good, okay, this is a very practical thing in the world. When a good action happens, when a result especially takes place, acknowledge everyone there, everyone in there, and know that it's because of everybody. When a negative action takes place, then this is from the practical standpoint. I'm not talking about from Atma standpoint. We have to own that up. We have to take the fall for it. Huh? And you know, this is seen so beautifully. He was Abdul Kalamji. I might not say this exactly as it was, but there's one beautiful incident. It's so extremely beautiful that they were working on launching something. You know, I think it was a satellite or something. They were working on launching it, and they put so much money, so much into it, and the whole project failed. The whole project failed. Yeah, okay. And Dr. Dhawan, am I saying it right? Yeah, the project failed. And so what happened? And there was a press conference right there. You know, the project failed and there's a press conference. And Abdul Kalamji has to speak. But, you know, the project, the leader said, you don't speak, I will speak. And basically the leader took the fall for the whole team. The project failed, but the leader, Dr. Dhawan was the leader, Satish Dhawan. Yes, he was the leader. So he took the fall for the whole team. And then the next time, when the project was successful and there was a press conference, what did Dr. Satish Dhawan do? What did he do? He didn't take the press conference. He told Abdul Kalamji, you take the press conference. Now you go and you speak. So that is how we should be in our life. I'm saying this so simply, but maybe I'll find the video or something so that you can see the effect. But it's such a beautiful moment. When it is something good that happens in our life, bring everybody forward. When it is something not good, we have to take that fall. We have to take that fall. And this we learn from such great people as Dr. Dhawanji and Abdul Kalamji. Okay, so with this we will close, and next week we will go into more of these verses. Please just take some time to contemplate on this verse. It's really, really powerful. Okay, and then of course those who have more questions and those who want to share something, we take it up. You can stay back. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Okay, so those who want to stay back for more Q&A, please stay back.